And welcome back to another video. Today what we have, as promised, is my 50 state prediction for the 2020 presidential election. So sorry about the delay. I've had a lot of issues technically with my recordings not coming out well, and my mic just not working to this morning. So yeah, the usual stuff. But regardless of that, it's working now, so live for the present, right? So anyways, we have the election obviously coming up very shortly, and I truly think that it's going to be an interesting election night, most likely. Either that or it'll be a complete blowout for Joe Biden, so either way, whatever. But regardless, let's get into this. And I'm hopefully going to have some final predictions for the presidency and the Senate seats for sure. I might look into the House a little bit and maybe even the governor's race if I'm feeling it. So, yeah, with all of that being said, let's get started. So starting off as a likely red state, I have the state of Texas. Now, I know for a fact that many times I have said that Texas will not be going blue for the 2020 presidential election, and I ultimately think that prediction will be holding up. Texas is currently in play, but it is mostly a long shot for the Democrats, and it'll be pretty surprising if they actually pull it out on election day itself. And one more note I forgot to make at the start of the video. All the states that I filled in, I called in the previous video. I do not think that Arizona is safe blue, or that, I don't know, Montana, South Carolina, any of them are safe for their respective colors. It's just if I called them in the previous video, I'm not going to call them again for this video. I feel like that would be a waste of time to call the same state again. But regardless, yeah, I just wanted to make a quick note of that before we continued on. So likely Democratic, we only have one state in that column, and that is the state of Minnesota. The state of Minnesota, along with the rest of the greater, what I'm going to call the Frost Belt, which I would consider Iowa all the way to Pennsylvania. And honestly, I think that Joe Biden's pedigree, regardless if it's true or not, as somebody who stands up for unions, to be very much something that will help him, especially in the Frost Belt states, especially like up here, and we'll come back to these states at a later point. So leaning Republican, I have Maine 2nd Congressional District. So Maine 2nd Congressional District went for Donald Trump by over 10 points in the 2016 presidential election. And now most pundits are calling it 50-50. I think Trump will outperform polls a little bit and hold on to the 2nd district from the state of Maine, mostly due to just the big margin he had in 2016, whenever he beat Hillary by double digits after Maine's 2nd district had never went Republican before. So I think that that's a very strong sign for 2016 and even for this election. I don't think it'll be a blowout. I think it'll be close. But I do think that President Trump can hold on to the congressional district. Now leaning blue, we have Nebraska's 2nd electoral district. Nebraska's second electoral district went blue in 2008 for Barack Obama. And since then, it didn't go blue for Obama in 2012, or for Hillary Clinton, obviously. But I do think Joe Biden, with his working class appeal, in a sense, could definitely have an effect on the voters. And I do think that Joe Biden will pull through and win Nebraska's second electoral district. And with that being said, Joe Biden would hit 270 electoral votes, making him the president-elect and the future 46th president of the United States.
Joe Biden for president of the United States.
Sorry about that. Yeah, the ads that are on 270 to win just randomly decide to play their audio. And, especially with an election in the next few days, they're definitely going to have ads on a political site. But yeah, that's decent timing. As I was saying, Joe Biden won. Joe Biden had to decide to come up. So, coincidence, whatever.
When he was presented with that number, he said, "It is what it is."
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Okay, so the next state I'm going to call is Ohio. I think that Ohio will stick in the president's column as it had went for the president in 2016 by a decent margin. It's generally considered like a toss-up state in most elections. I think it will be considered a toss-up state, but I do ultimately think that President Trump will hold on to the state of Ohio, and we will see it from there. So the next state I'm going to call is the state right next to it, and that is the state of Pennsylvania, which I think is returning to the blue wall. So President Donald Trump won Pennsylvania in 2016 by around 10,000 votes. In that election, his outsider status was unquestioned in an election that was definitely one of change. Change was a big narrative, and Hillary represented the status quo.
You can't fix the economy until you fix the COVID crisis.
Okay, these ads are getting very annoying. Okay, I'm so sorry. Ultimately, I do think that Joe Biden will win his home state because he's much more favorable, and Pennsylvania is usually Democratic, and very narrowly went for the president in 2016. So the next state I'm going to call is the state of Iowa. Iowa is very contested in this election. I do think that it will stay in the president's column once again. Honestly, Iowa, besides 2008, I believe, has consistently been a red state.
I'm so proud to endorse Joe Biden.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So Iowa is consistently a red state besides 2008, and Joe Biden is not Barack Obama 2008. That's for sure. So I don't think Joe Biden has the momentum to pick up Iowa. If he does pick up Iowa on election night, it's over for Trump at that point. I'm actually thinking about releasing a video of like an election night, like watch list essentially, to show what really you should look for on election night itself. But regardless of that, we have 3 states left to call. The first one of these 3 I'm going to call is the state of Florida. The state of Florida, I think, Vice President Joe Biden. I think it's going to be close because Florida isn't allowed, essentially, to be not close. It's always been close since the 2000 election. And I think this is not going to be an exception. Okay, so the Biden campaign should give me money because of all the fucking advertisements they're deciding to have on my video right now. But that is what it is. So I do think that since Florida went for Obama in 2012, I think that Joe Biden can definitely capture that momentum and turn Florida blue once again. And I think that would be a big victory for the Biden campaign. So the next state I'm going to call is North Carolina, and I believe North Carolina will be voting blue. I do indeed think that North Carolina, which has been shifting to the left, look at its governor's race in 2018, look at the Senate race they have right now, it's definitely leaning more Democratic. And I think with an incumbent president as unpopular as Trump, I think that North Carolina will go blue on election night. So let me say something real quick. So the reason why I did two predictions, I did the traditional that you would see on like a news broadcast. Those are the states that I feel. So the states that I called the last video, I feel very confident in. The states that I have here, there's a reason most major news networks won't call it. It's because it could go either way on election night. So don't go out there and bet really hard that North Carolina is going for Joe Biden or that Florida is voting for anybody. Don't ever bet on Florida. You'll lose.
Like him, in the middle of COVID crisis.
You'll lose basically every time. So, like I said, this is just what I think right now. Still, a lot of things can happen. The margin of error for polling can be off. So a lot of things can happen. President Trump still can definitely win. The final state I'm going to call is the state of Georgia. The state of Georgia, I do think, will lean Republican on election night. It's very similar to Texas. The demographics are shifting way faster in Georgia than most people expected. Georgia was not supposed to be really in play for Democrats this time around. But as you can see, in two close Senate races and a very close presidential race, Georgia is very much a toss-up. I do ultimately think, though, that President Trump will be able to secure enough voters that voted for him in 2016 to hold on to the state of Georgia. So my final electoral math, Joe Biden becomes the 46th president of the United States with 334 electoral votes to Donald Trump's 204. Sorry about the ads and the delays of this video.
When he was presented with that number, he said, it is what it is. What it is what it is because you are who you are. He said he didn't tell us to
So anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Comment down below what you think. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also join us on the subreddit at r/JPCReddit. I am Joe's Political Chatter signing off and telling you to have an excellent day.